Hi everyone! Today we're going to do a quick start guide for using Keynote on your MacBook. To get started, you need to locate your Keynote application, and if it's not present in your dock at the bottom of your screen, you can locate it by going to your magnifying glass in the top right-hand corner, typing in Keynote. You'll see that it'll appear. Select it. You'll know now that you're in the Keynote application because you see that Keynote has appeared on the top left-hand side of your screen. Anytime you're opening a new application on your Mac, the application that's currently running will show in the top left-hand corner. So it's asking now if I want to open a previous presentation or if I want to start something new, and I wanted to start something new. So similar to using Google Slides or PowerPoint, you'll see that you have some options here as far as slide themes. You can choose any of them, and you also have the opportunity to change your theme later on in the presentation if you choose to do that. So I'm going to select this gradient option, hit choose at the bottom of my screen, and then Keynote will open. I'll be ready to get started. So you'll see that it kind of defaults. There's some text on your screen. You can start by editing that text if you want, or you can highlight it all and delete it just by hitting the delete key on your keyboard. So I'm just going to start with this text, and I'm gonna edit it briefly. Okay, so this is my title. I don't really want a subtitle on this slide, so I'm going to click in this box and I'm going to hit delete. And then I would want to edit this text. This definitely is not fancy enough for me. So I'm going to click on the text again so that it's selected. I know it's selected because now it has this box around it. And you'll notice that there's a toolbar over here on the right-hand side. If you're not seeing that toolbar, you'd want to click on one of these icons on the top right-hand corner. So either Format, Animate, or Document. So again, if you're not seeing that toolbar, click on Format to open it up. And then you see the format options. The first tab under Format says Style. When you click on the Style options, you'll notice that it's changing the style of the box itself. So it's not actually changing your text. So yes, the style is there to change the box or the area around your text and not the text yourself. We'll get to that in a second. So over here are some highlights. I have gradient fill selected, so I could click to change the shades in the gradient here. If I wanted to put a border around the outside, I could select a border, a line, and then some options appear, and I can choose what kind of line I want around the outside. And how thick I want that line to be by using this up and down arrow. You can also adjust the shadow that's available. You can add a reflection. See how now there's a reflection down here. And you can also change the opacity of the shape by simply adjusting this style right here. So now if we want to change the text itself, now we're going to select the Text tab from up here on the right-hand side. The first thing I'd want to change is I would like to have this text centered in the middle of the box. So to do that, you see the alignment here changes from left aligned, centered, right aligned, or justified. I want it to be centered, but I also want it to be centered up and down. So that's these options down here. I'm going to select this center option here. I also want to change the font that this text appears in, and there are certainly a lot to choose from, some fun titles. And then I want to make that larger, so I'm going to change this option right here to make that larger. I'm going to click to make it bigger, bigger, bigger. Okay, and then the other thing you can do is you can also change the color of that text as well if you wanted it to be gray or pink or whatever looked good to you. I like light gray for this purpose. Okay, so that's what changing your text looks like. You can also change the arrangement. Right now, there's nothing else on the slide, but that is a tab that's available to you. So as we start to add more layers, we can change the arrangement. You can also align it on the slide to the center of the slide itself. or at the top. I like to just select my own placement, so I'm just going to drag it to where I want it to be. Okay. So now let's talk about adding media. When you select to add media, it'll automatically access any images that you have in your iPhoto. You can also, just like you did with other programs, drag images to your desktop and then drag them into the application itself. So I had previously taken a picture off the internet, I drug it to my desktop, and now I'm just going to drag this image into my presentation. So now I have this adorable little puppy dog in my presentation. Everybody loves a presentation with a puppy dog in it, right? So you'll notice now that I have this selected, my panel looks similar, but now that I have the image selected, now I can change the style of this image as well. So I can click and add some of these pre-selected style options. There's several available. You'll see some have a shadow. This sort of put like a soft edge around the puppy. And then another really cool thing that you can do here is you can also add some additional shapes. So say I wanted to put, a circle in here. Perhaps I was doing a presentation that involved this puppy's paw. So maybe I want to make a circle out of this. So I could take this shape, again, I have it selected here, and then I could add a border to it, a line around it, and make that a little bit thicker. And I can change the line color to red by clicking on this color wheel here, make that red. And then I'm going to come up here where it says fill, and I'm going to say no fill. So under fill, no fill. So now I've made just a circle, and I'm going to put this circle around this little puppy's paw here. And so now I have my slide all set up, but if I'm doing my presentation and perhaps I'm doing a whole presentation about puppy paws, I don't know, then I might want to have some information come in at different times. So, here, since I had this brilliant idea that this presentation was going to be about puppy paws, maybe I'll write that, puppy paws, because they're adorable, right? So I want some information to come in at different times so I can better make my point about my content. So I could do that by, again, selecting the object that I want to edit. And then on the top right, instead of having the format option selected, I would select animate and add an effect. So I want the puppy to comment in, and it'll show me a preview of that. And it's going to come in from left to right. And then I want this little circle to come in after that. So then I'm going to, again, I've selected my circle. I'm going to go to add effect. And I want it to kind of trace in because I think that looks kind of cool, right? So then I might want to make a point then about the puppy paws themselves. So I want to add an effect, but this time I'm going to switch over to action. So instead of having something build in or build out, I want to just make an action for something that's already there. So again, I selected my title slide, I hit add effect, and I want it just to jiggle at that point in the presentation. Okay, and now I want to set my presentation so that my puppy paw and his circle, I want his circle to then disappear. I want that to go away. So now under animate, I'm going to select build out and add an effect. And then I just want it to vanish, just disappear. Isn't that fun? So then to check on my animation or the order, if I wanted to change anything, I would select down here on the bottom right, it says build order. Could click on that. And you can see each of my animations that I added in here. So if I needed to change something, or if I didn't want it to go with on click, I wanted to come in with another animation, I could do that. I could make those changes here. Okay, so I want to show you one more thing that I think is super cool in Keynote before we move on, because I know that you guys are anxious to learn all kinds of things today. But my favorite thing is adding a transition into Keynote, and it's called the magic move. So I'm going to duplicate this slide by right-clicking on it, which is Command-click on your Mac, or if you have your keypad set up to two-finger click as your right-click, you can do that too. So you right-click on it. We're going to hit Duplicate. So now I have two of the same slides, and I'm going to delete everything else off the slide, but just say that I want to have my presentation title in the bottom right-hand corner of all of my slides. So I'm going to have that here, and I'm going to move that down to the bottom right-hand corner of my slide. And then I'm going to go back to the first slide, and I'm going to select to add a transition. And I'm going to add that transition, and I'm going to select Magic Move. So I add the Magic Move. And now when I go in, see how fun that is? So now let's go in and let's play this presentation so you can see all the transitions that we put in so far. So you'll see there's my title. I click Magic Move, and then my puppy appears, and in comes the circle for the paw. And that moves out. And then, I wanted to make a point about my title. And then that moves out. And then watch when we transition to the next slide, the Magic Move moves the puppy paws title down to the bottom left-hand or right-hand corner rather. And it still has the wiggle effect on it. Okay, so those are the things that I wanted to show you to get yourself started with Keynote. I hope everyone really enjoys their new MacBooks, and have an awesome, awesome day.